You are now listening to WSN Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now in Odyssey Station.
In the city of dreams,
three friends
return to the plate to strike out the semester. And we have our signature lineup of segments returning with Triple Play and Snake Your Case.
and we all have three separate lists. So that leaves me with Acuna with the 40-70 season at number one.
What was I saying before about what was my tough pickle spot?
Quarterback? No, what was it?
Tight end.
Tight end. Dude, that's everybody's
Guess who's going first as my tight end? Brock Bowers.
I knew that was
Don't worry, we're bringing you the best interviews and what's going on this weekend in sports.
And so much more.
So grab a drink.
And some popcorn. And get ready to enjoy the show. This is Triple Threat.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Triple Threat. Today I am here with my lovely co-host, Jason Barker.
Yes, sir.
And we have a face that you might not know. You might be looking at there saying, that's not John. Where's
Nope.
John? John is currently not with us today. So we got the man, the myth, the legend, Brandon Dyer. How you feeling, Brandon?
Oh, I'm feeling great being on here for the first time, I was about to say. I've been friends with you guys for a while,
Yeah.
so I've been waiting to try and get behind the mic with both of you guys.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, and we're real excited for this show. So without further ado, let's talk about the Wolves.
You know, the stager is running right now.
The Wolves are on the run.
That's okay. We'll
All
just,
right. Hey, listen.
Wolves!
I played this.
we're
you
good.
know, anyways,
Let's just get into
Yeah.
it.
We
Let's
got
just get
this.
into it. So we have a pretty action-packed weekend here in Carrollton regarding West Georgia athletics. And the first thing I want to touch on is this baseball team. I want to talk about this baseball team, especially because so far this season, they've looked pretty darn good. For being in their first year at D1, they're currently sitting at 13-13. So we're at 500, pretty close to like half-ish way through the season. So it's really cool to see that. And I know, Brandon, you are like Mr. Behind the scenes for our baseball and softball teams. You're kind of always there, you know, you're doing something to help the team. So I want to ask you, when you look at this West Georgia baseball team, what are some things that really stick out to you?
Something that really sticks out to me is the starting pitching has actually been pretty good for West Georgia here. And, I mean, behind the scenes, I'm usually the guy keeping up with the scoreboard, keeping up a lot of the times with the pitch count on it. But some of the things that I don't like about this West Georgia team is I'm hitting the ball button a lot and early in the game. Like, we're walking batters like crazy, though.
Yeah.
But I think that really offensively, the bats are heating up. The bats are actually really good for West Georgia this season.
I mean, yeah, I think from the beginning, like, the bats have never been the question. It has been, I mean, it's been clearly the pitching. We go up today against, Stetson?
North Florida.
North
North
Florida.
Florida.
We just got swept.
Oh, yeah, we just got swept by Stetson. I
we
was
just
there
got
to
swept
witness
by
that
Stetson.
one.
We've lost 4 in a row, albeit that first game was against Georgia. You know, we put up a fight. Go Wolves.
Good save.
That was almost sacrilegious right there. But no, I mean, this is going to be a tough matchup here. I mean, they beat us and pretty much, I mean, statistically, every category. Now, we do have some better batters, but I think their lineup is more balanced than ours. I feel like at times the Wolves' bats, while they're hot, they can tend to be top-heavy. So, I mean, we'll just see. We'll have to see how that shapes up.
Yeah, I really like watching this team, especially when Lane is pitching.
Yeah.
When you put Lane Pearson on the mound, I think right now he has a 1.84 ERA. He's leading the ASUN with 52 strikeouts. This dude, he's a dog. I mean, he's going to go out on that mound and just show you why he's one of the best pitchers in the league, which is really encouraging to see, especially for your Friday starter. So, looking at that, I think he's got to be the biggest bright spot of this baseball team. And the bats they've been pretty darn good. Like when we played Georgia, right? When we played Tennessee, we're still able to put runs on the board. A lot of teams at the lower level of college baseball, they're not able to do that. They're not able to put up runs against those elite bullpens. But here we are, and we do that. So, man, if we can just get this pitching dialed in outside of lane and just absolutely rake out there offensively. I mean, I'm really excited for that.
And it's like we don't look super, super bad. It's just the thing that we just have really bad innings sometimes. Like, we lost 11-2 on Friday in lane start against Stetson. And what wound up happening was we gave up 8 of those runs in the 8th inning.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're in the ball games and we're in them late. We're just kind of blowing them late in the game.
Yeah. Right. And that even like against the best teams, the same exact thing happened to us against Georgia. So history just seems to be repeating itself.
Yeah, and baseball's not the only sport we got going on right now. We also have our softball team, and that's a really interesting, to me, an interesting team to look at because they started off the season, I mean, on fire almost seems like an understatement for how they started the season off. So I want to kick it back to you, Brandon, simply because you've been at these games, you've worked the scoreboard, you've kind of seen this team play in person. When we can say all these things, right? The team's sitting at 9-24. They don't have the greatest record. We're coming up on close to a month since their last victory. So I'm not going to say, like, what do they need to do to win? Because obviously, like
just score more runs on the other team.
Exactly. But what I want to say is, what are the strengths of this team? Because we can point out the weaknesses pretty easily when you're doing as poorly as they are. But what are some things that we can look at as fans of this softball team and say, hey, that's a bright spot that we really could build upon?
I think that pitching-wise, they're almost the exact opposite of West Georgia. I think the softball team has a really good bullpen. I think that they get behind early in games, and that's what winds up just absolutely, like, demolishing them, is the fact that they're giving up 2-3 runs in the first inning. They're already starting behind. So they're already kind of like mentally, hey, we've got to, like, keep up in the bottom of the first inning. And whenever you're in a spot where you have to do that, it's just not going to create a whole lot of good chemistry with the whole entire batting lineup and with the team as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon, I heard what you said, but these statistics, I mean, I don't know if they completely are backing that up. I know we're on like a 12-game like losing streak, so we don't have a reliever at the moment. Other than, we don't have a reliever who has an ERA under 10.50. So,
that's not good.
I would say, I know that we said it before, bright spots are just some of these bats. You got Blair Bazette, who's still out there.
She's going to go out there and rake every single time she steps onto that field.
I mean, she's still going out there, has played every single game for the Wolves this year, has been probably the most consistent piece and part of this team. But it's just the girls behind her are it's led to what 9-24.
Yeah, we're sitting at 9-24. But if you want to see this team get their first win in a little bit, they have a doubleheader today at University Softball Field, and we're playing tomorrow at 1:00. So be there at 4 p.m. today and 6:30 if you can't get off work that early, and watch the Wolves play some softball.
This team is kind of reminding me of like the volleyball team earlier this year. The volleyball team got off to a really hot start. We're like, oh yeah, we trust, we believe in this volleyball team, and they ended the year on like a 25-game lose streak.
Yeah, let's hope that does not happen here.
So really got off to a hot start, and I'm not there. I'm not in the clubhouse. I'm not seeing what's going on, but at the Division I level, at this new unprecedented level that we're all getting used to for the first time, as soon as you kind of hit that roadblock, it's really probably really difficult to dig yourself out of that hole. But yeah, I'm gonna want to be looking for them to, at least not be losing like by 8 you may have an 8 in our last games. We lost 8-0. Had a close one against Florida Gulf Coast. A good squad, by the way. Went 9-7, lost 9-7, lost 4-3, then lost 9-2 against Troy, and then 14-2. Just want to see this team put it together here at home.
Yeah, I feel like if they can just simplify the game and go out there and play softball that they've been playing their whole life,
absolutely,
just take it one pitch at a time and see how well you can do. But in other news, we have a really, really big event going on campus this weekend. It is our Legends track meet. So this is the first time this year and the only time this year that you will be able to see our men's and women's track and field teams play here or have a meet here in Carrollton at our track. It's going to be really fun, and I know that y'all aren't the biggest track guys, but I ran track and cross country in high school, so I love the sport, and I'm going to tell you, go to this thing. There's going to be food trucks. If you don't want to watch the actual athletics, there's going to be food. Like, it's going to be fun. There's going to be food, there'll be music, and there's going to be some great athletes out there on the track. We've been breaking school records left and right this year. I mean, this is probably the most talented track and field team we've ever had here in Carrollton.
Really?
Yeah, and so y'all really go out there, support the Wolves. I'm pretty sure you don't have to pay anything. They just want you there.
Yeah, just show up and support.
Which track and field event do you kind of get your like things going for you, buddy?
Oh man, I'm a distance guy through and through. I mean, you take one look at me, you understand. You're looking at it walking a human stick bug over here. So I'm a big distance guy. But I mean, if you're not into track and field, go watch the relays. Like, that's where you're going to get the fun. Like, everybody's kind of paying attention. It's at the end of the meet. Like, the 4x4, man, that is the premier race for track meets. So just go out there, man. It's going to be a good time. But that's all we got for our Wolves on the Run. So I think it's time for Triple Play.
It's time for Triple Play.
There's one, there's two, and there's three. A triple play.
Hey, listen, shout out to John Halley doing this job. Listen, I don't know what I did differently between the Wolves on the Run stage or in that stager, but hey, we appreciate you, John, and we look forward to having you back here soon, buddy. But we have Triple Play.
Yeah, so this Triple Play is going to be really interesting. If you've been living under a rock, you might not know that last month was March. And we're finishing up March Madness, so we got the Final Four this weekend, and we were kind of thinking, like, what could we do for Triple Play to really make it fun? Because we've kind of already we've done a lot of March Madness recently, and so we decided to talk about the recent, like, best national championships. So, Brandon, because you're sitting in where Jason normally sits,
Right.
I am going to let you introduce who won last week's graphic and who gets to pick this order.
I'm going to announce who I voted for.
Wait, no, that's Snake Your Case. We're on Triple Play right now.
You're right. We are on Triple Play.
Brandon, what's our topic for today?
Our topic for today is going to be national champions in college basketball. And I think I have three really good ones set up for you guys today. I think it's going to be the women's side is going to be Iowa, South Carolina from 2024.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be 2016 Villanova versus North Carolina. And it's going to be 2010 Butler versus Duke, one of the greatest underdog stories in sports that should have been.
Let's go. So, Jason, we're going to let you kick it off.
That's fantastic. This might be the only time you hear me talk during this stage.
He loves college basketball. He loves talking about
He's the
it.
biggest college basketball fan.
I am the biggest college basketball fan. Now listen, I had enough time to watch the highlights of one of these games before we got on here. I'm not gonna come out here and say I know ball. All right, listen. Caitlin Clark played for that Iowa Hawkeyes team right there against South Carolina. They played the game, got some of the most viewership over any national championship of all time, putting women's basketball really on her back, did Caitlin Clark and the Iowa's team, along with other ball players, and that's really great for the sport. And so with that, I'm going to do something that I've never done before, and I'm going to go ahead and give you my second spot first, and I'm going to put that
It's
game.
paradox. He is all out of order today.
I'm going to put that game at my number 2 slot as Iowa loses to South Carolina 87-75. Then I'm going to go at my number 1 spot. Wow, this is awesome. I'm going to put Duke and Butler, where Duke defeats Butler 61-59. And in my last spot, I'm going to have Villanova and UNC. Now,
Jackson, I don't think he knows the lore.
Yeah.
Jackson, you seem very disappointed.
Yes.
Listen, hey, I will say, hey, John, having this computer here is like rocking, bro. This is awesome. So, anyways, tell me your list.
You might have that computer there, but you definitely are not using it correctly. Do you know what happened in that Villanova Duke in that Villanova UNC game? Do you know how it ended?
No,
No, he's looking back at the
don't.
box score. All right, so here's my list. I'm gonna go ahead and put my number one. It's UNC Villanova. It's a buzzer beater to win the national championship with a great shot right before it that often gets forgotten. I mean, that game was back and forth to the end, but Villanova won it on a buzzer beater. How many national championship games, how many championship games do you get that walk-off atmosphere? That buzzer beater to win the national championship. I mean, confetti flying, everybody's going crazy. It was such a great scene. So, I mean, that should be the only acceptable answer for number one. And then I will, like you, Jason, I'm going to go with my number two pick as Iowa, South Carolina. Not only because it was like Caitlin Clark, at her peak in college basketball, but you also had that not Angel Reese, it was South Carolina, but you still had that Dawn Staley. I mean, that rivalry between these two teams. And the big thing was what this game did for women's basketball. Mm-hmm. This game propelled college women's basketball to a whole nother level. This game had 4 million more average viewers than the men's championship did last year, which is insane. That's a lot of people. I don't have 4 million fingers to count that on. So that's insane, and it's really helped people go, oh, maybe women's basketball is not that boring. Maybe it's fun. Maybe they have rivalries. Like, maybe it's something we should actually pay attention to. And people have really started doing that ever since this game. And it just put the sport really right on the map. And then my number 3 spot is Duke and Butler. Great game. I mean, all three of these were great games. But, you just got to go with the other two. It's close, but I'm just going to have that in my third spot.
All right, so he started with 2. He started with 1. I'm going to start with 3.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's how you should do it.
And at 3, I'm going to go the same list as Jackson over here. And I'm going to go with...
I love you, Brandon.
I'm going to go with Duke and Butler at 3. Simply because I think if Butler wins this game... Because if you haven't seen the end of that game, it's Gordon Hayward goes to shoot a half-court shot, and he almost banks it in. Like, if he banks that shot in, I think that's the greatest ending to a national championship ever.
It's a huge what-if.
I think that's what every kid dreams about on the playground. Like, the dream of that half-court buzzer beater, going in and being the hometown hero with it. And plus, with Butler, like, mid-major teams, they really haven't had a big name for themselves up until then, because this was in 2010. So, if Butler gets that shot in, it's a huge win for some of those mid-major teams. And then at my number 2 spot, I have Iowa, South Carolina. Because South Carolina comes in with Camilla Cardoso. I think that's her last name. Cardoso?
Sure. Sounds good to me, bro.
I think that really that whole entire Final Four, like you go down, you have Paige Beckers at UConn, you have Angel Reese. You have Angel Reese at LSU, you have Caitlin Clark at Iowa.
Did LSU play Iowa right before the national championship game?
Yes.
Okay, so that was the big one, because I knew that's like that Angel Reese Caitlin Clark rivalry is something that's started in college.
That may be women's college basketball's version of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. But that's for a whole nother day.
Yeah.
But I think that what that did for that sport, just that single game and that single Final Four, is something that can't be underestimated at all. Like women's college basketball, we don't know Juju Lewis right now without that. We don't know Paige Beckers. We don't really get these college women's basketball storylines without having that Final Four last year. And I think women's college basketball is in the best spot it's ever been.
I agree.
I think it's simply because of that right there. But I think Villanova, North Carolina is without a doubt the greatest national championship in college, maybe college sports in general.
Really?
The only thing that might come close to it, and Jason might get mad about
Alabama
this,
wins.
is the Alabama-Georgia game from, I think it was 2017 or 2018.
That was insane, bro. That was insane. I have never, ever liked Tua Tunga, blah, 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 because of that. That's insane.
You sounded like that announcer right before Tua Tua.
That's why you just stick with
Tagovailoa.
Tua.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, y'all didn't have to go to my heart right there, bro. We were talking about college basketball, and you got to come over here and remind me that Tua Tagovailoa made me have nightmares for 3 weeks, bro. That's insane.
But Villanova, North Carolina, you mentioned it earlier. Marcus Page hits one of the craziest circus shots I've ever seen from a three to tie that game up right before Chris Jenkins goes down and hits that game-winning three for Villanova. And that's going to be the best forgotten shot in all of sports history. I know that sounds like a stretch, but I genuinely believe that was the greatest shot that no one ever talks about.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when stuff like that happens where you have, like, this insane moment and then an even crazier moment happens right after. I mean, we've talked about it before. Julio Jones catching the Super Bowl. That's something we've talked about.
It's like that. Who was the Indians guy that hit a home run the year that the Cubs won it?
Oh, Lindor, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Lindor had a home run that made, like, the loudest moment in baseball history in Cleveland, which was, like, an insane home run, but then, the Cubs broke the curse, so nobody really talks about it.
But, yeah, that's my list of my three right there. So and I feel pretty confident in that list, though.
So the Caitlin Clark game, which is funny that I think that just shows the impact that it has, because I'm calling it the Caitlin Clark game, and her team lost by 15 points.
Hey, she put up 30.
She did put up 30 points in that game. Is more about, what it meant for the sport. We got the Duke game is more of the what if factor to it. And then Duke's like, they went up, they made some great shots. It ended up on buzzer beater in the national championship.
Right.
Good. I'm glad I can sum this up. I will stick true to my guns, and I will not change my list order. However,
you're gonna keep a buzzer beat. I mean, obviously, don't change it.
Yeah, no. I'm not gonna pull a John. Just because I'm sitting here doesn't mean I have to be exactly like John and then have a change of heart. Come on now, I stick true to these guns. But yeah. I mean, yeah. I like looking at this women's championship too, simply because it's not only what it did for women's basketball, but look at Coach Staley. Like look at her career. This has cemented her as one of, if not the greatest women's basketball coaches of all time. Like, you look at dynasties, and South Carolina's becoming one, and they have a chance to really cement themselves as one this year. And so it's really encouraging to see that and to see, just women's basketball on the rise as a whole.
Right. It's something I grew up watching. I remember watching Brianna Stewart's UConn. Those UConn teams back in the day were just nothing. But they had Brianna Stewart and they had Maya Moore.
Was that like 10 years? When was it, like maybe 10 years ago, which makes me feel kind of old, where they were like... They had
makes
that,
you feel old?
When was for real? When was that undefeated streak that they had that was like extremely long? I feel like I was in middle school.
I think it was like a 98-game winning streak.
Yeah, it was something
where they
crazy.
didn't lose in like 3 years.
Yeah, I remember that, and they had like one player do like the Jordan shrug or something like that. So,
and then they wound up losing to Notre Dame and Akumbe Ambawale. I think that's her last name.
Dude, the pronunciation is so good. But yeah, I mean, it's real cool to see that. But I think that's all we got here for Triple Play. So we will be back in a second. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Snake Your Case is next.
It's time. To keep listening to Triple Threat on Wolf Sports Network.
Hey, do you want to be a part of Wolf Sports Network? Yeah! Well, I have some good news for you, because you can join us. Woohoo! So if you want to learn more about this, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com and click WIT Sports Program. With becoming a WIT, you expand your knowledge in the sports radio world and join our ever-growing family.
New face over there, you're not tripping. We got my guy JT over here shadowing the board. He's running through a WIT program right now.
Oh. Brandon, how you feeling, baby? Welcome to Sports
I'm feeling great being on here for the first time.
And we can't wait to meet you once you join us.
You are now listening to WSN, Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now an Odyssey station.
Found City, that's where I'm from, it's why I stay, it's why I live. Yeah. Just another night, that's how we do it. Check it out. Yo, a night full of energy, free from all it's warming up the cold like an eye turning red and it's heating up the stove. The cries from a dove and the petals from a rose are finally getting noticed. They was turning up their nose, now they all saying whoa. They checking out our clothes.
Wolf Sports Network is content heaven for a sports fan, but their show Sports Pack is my personal favorite. Sports Pack airs on Mondays and Thursdays from 6 to 7 on Wolf Sports Network, filled with fresh personalities, funny moments, and piping hot takes, along with call-ins that allow listeners to get in on the action. Check out Sports Pack every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Over the horizon, a new show rises over Wolf Sports Network. To bring light to all things college sports. The Playbook, 6 to 7 p.m. every Tuesday on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
College students who binge drank alcohol at least 3 times per week were roughly 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or project as a result of drinking. This is why the Crafty Rabbit Meadery has joined Wolf Sports Network's and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign to remind students drinking should be done responsibly and in an environment that discourages overindulging. Faculty won't take hangovers as excuses. Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting wolfradio.com/bookdrive. That's wolfradio.com/bookdrive. It's time to snake your case. Alright, so earlier in the show I kind of jumped ahead to snake your case, but I'm going to do it now, Brandon. So, Brandon, why don't you just introduce us? For no particular reason, what topic did we choose for snake your case?
I think that we are going to talk about some players that were involved in PEDs, boys. Performance enhancing drugs.
And no particular reason whatsoever are we discussing players that have been.
Yeah, this is completely random.
We just totally thought it would be fun.
There's nothing going on regarding
absolutely no reason. Just right out of left field.
It was next in the wheel, you know. That's what we had coming on. So, let's do it. So last week we had Taurus Watson on the show, and we also had Chase Jefferson. Man, Chase Jefferson put on a show. He put on a show in the polling. Thank y'all for voting, by the way. We appreciate anybody and everybody who goes and follows us on Wolf Sports Network on Instagram and votes. So, with that, it came down to, I believe, a tie between Jason Barker and Chase Jefferson. Now, if we look around the table, Chase. I don't see him. He ain't here. So guess what?
What?
I am proclaiming myself as the winner because I'm still standing, baby.
Should I give the Barker veto? I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm sitting, but anyways. So here's what I'll do. I will go ahead and put myself first today because, you know, it's a pretty juiced lineup of players that we have to pick up from today. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have you, Mr. Sir Kebab
you know my name.
Schrader. Yep. I was saying words until I could think about
Sir
it.
Kebab.
And
that's crazy.
And Brandon, you'll be third rounding us out.
I got you.
I'm going to go ahead and start us off with probably the greatest baseball player to ever use performance-enhancing drugs. Schrader seems happy about this because he thinks that he found a better guy.
I do.
But I'm going to go with Barry Bonds, the self-proclaimed home run, no, I'm playing, the statistical home run champion.
Hall of Famer, right?
Not Hall of Famer, Barry Bonds.
Yeah, so you go with Barry Bonds. I mean, that's a pretty solid pick. I mean, that's a good, safe first pick. But I'm gonna go with Lance Armstrong, like the poster child of PEDs.
Wait, didn't he like land on the moon?
That's Neil Armstrong.
Bro, that's Neil Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong was a cyclist who was stripped of his 7 Tour de France titles. He's known as like the greatest athlete to be exposed for performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, you just think of steroids and you think of Lance Armstrong. So that's my easy pick.
All right, and I have back-to-back picks right here.
Yes,
I
sir.
do. You snake it around, baby.
So I'm going to go first. Another baseball guy, one of my favorite baseball players of all time, Mark McGwire.
Yeah.
Who 11th all-time in home runs right now. He was 5th whenever he retired, and he was kind of one of the faces of the late 90s in baseball, of that kind of like steroid era of baseball that we don't like to talk about a whole lot. But I still loved it, okay? And it's near and dear to me. And with my second pick...
he was a good ball player, by the way. You know,
he was a great ball player.
Dude, Mark McGwire, that home run chase he had with Sosa
Sammy
was
Sosa.
great. Yeah.
Was it the summer of 98?
Yeah, summer of 98.
And with my second pick, I'm also going to stay in baseball. Might be a little bit early to pick this guy, but he was one of the first known, I remember this getting announced, PED suspensions. Ryan Braun from the Milwaukee Brewers.
You talk about Ryan Braun often, I feel like.
Probably a lot more than anybody else really cares to here, but I talk about this Ryan Braun suspension.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about this suspension. It was just something that hurt me because I loved him and I loved Prince Fielder together. So,
dude, Prince Fielder, what a guy, dude. What a guy.
But Braun, he got caught twice using PEDs, and he won the 2011 MVP. So, I mean, this was my growing up childhood, hey, he's going to be really good at baseball.
Yeah.
And then he just winds up getting busted, not once, but twice. So...
Yeah, I mean, and he was good during his time, right? I feel like you're right. And maybe that was a little bit of a stretch as far as taking in career numbers into account. But you go with a guy that you grew up watching. You are the old man at the station after all. And yeah, Ryan Braun, good ball player.
So for my second pick, I'm gonna go with the guy that I thought I just gave Brandon. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick Sammy Sosa.
Dude, I thought
that's what I was typing Sammy when you were and here's my pick, and then you picked Braun. So I appreciate it. But I'm gonna go with the other guy in that summer of '98 chase for the home run record. Give me Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong there. That's pretty good. Now, I'm debating on taking a guy who I think's honestly overrated. And Jackson Schrader over there is probably rolling his eyes because he's like, this boy just learned how to use the word overrated. But I am going to go with Alex Rodriguez.
Hey, Rod, that's a good pick.
Overrated?
Yeah, he is over, especially defensively. I mean, definitely a bit overrated. I think that he did have a Hall of Fame career, but he gets too much credit for his game. I'm not degrading, I'm not trying to tell you don't pick my team because, whatever. I'm trying to pick the best, but whatever.
He says, I only pick the most overrated players.
There we go.
Now, this player that I'm about to pick, he is also in that era, and look, I think I'm gonna have a fully baseball little list going on here today.
Very well could.
But apparently, baseball is just a hotbed for these performance-enhancing drugs and these alleged uses of performance-enhancing drugs as well. This player was connected to the Bay Area Laboratory Cooperative, which has a fun acronym. It's BALO. It's anyways. I'm gonna go with Jason Giambi. I gotta go with the Jason. And the Jason stick together. So, Jason Giambi.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with a guy here that people forget. He was a competitive bodybuilder, right? And I feel like if I'm gonna go into a sport where I can get some guys that were juiced, I'm gonna go to bodybuilding, right? And I'm gonna go get a guy who happened to be the governor of California at some point.
Yep.
Give me Arnold.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I didn't know he was involved in PEDs at all.
Dude, you do not have a physique like that, and you are natural. There is no way Arnold was natural.
All right, and then comes over.
So you got
to
your last
me.
two.
My last two right here. Oh man, these are tough decisions. I'm gonna go into the football world for the first time.
Let's do it. I was about to say we need to bring football into this.
Someone that was near and dear to my heart again as a child watching college football. Patrick Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a cornerback
Really?
out of LSU, and then he wound up playing a whole lot of years for the Cardinals. I don't know the exact number, but this man made 8 straight Pro Bowls. And then after he did all of that, in 2019, it came out that he was using PEDs and he got suspended for the first 6 games of the season. So one of my favorite cornerbacks in the entire NFL at the time.
Patrick Peterson is so like you can say underrated, or even just I feel like undervalued would be a better word, which is something that the Cardinals are so good at doing, is having generational talent that people are just like, oh yeah, they are pretty good, but they never get talked about. I mean, look at the career of Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
I feel like Larry Fitzgerald does not get credit for how good he legitimately was. I mean, more drops or more tackles than drops is a stat that, like, are you serious?
Blows people away.
It's insane. But yeah, that's a great pick.
I do love me some Larry Fitzgerald. I'm a good possession receiver guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my last pick, I'm going to go with someone who played with Mark McGwire.
Who?
And I'm going to go Jose Canseco.
Oh, yeah.
His teammate Jose. That outfield for the Athletics was juiced up, and you know it.
Yeah.
Okay. So he hit more than 30 home runs in 7 of his seasons. Grew up. It was the very tail end of Jose Canseco when I started watching baseball. But I mean, my dad talked about Jose Canseco a whole lot when I was growing up. So he's got to be pretty darn good at this baseball thing. So I think that's going to round out my list here.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think, for my last pick, what could I do? Could I kind of go with another outside of the box pick, which I think I'm going to do, and I'll have just another good honorable mention, but I think for my outside of the box pick is one that we really, really have to look at. Basically, the entire Russian Olympic team in 2014 they were not allowed to. They got banned from the Olympics. So I think if I'm just gonna go outside of the box, I'm gonna go with a whole nation that was just juiced up. So I'm gonna go with basically the entire Russian Olympic team.
That's a great pull, buddy.
That's insane. Okay. So we've done this thing. I kind of gone, a little bit 90s, little 80s, little early 2000s with Jason Giambi over here. I'm gonna go a little bit more recent. I think that there might be some better, people out there. And no, I'm not about to pick a Brave. I'm about to pick a.
Wait, there was a Brave that got exposed for PEDs.
That's never
in
happened.
Atlanta.
No, that's not happened.
There has never been a Brave been suspended for PEDs.
Yeah, never
At all, dude.
And
not even 80 games.
Yeah, not even 80 games.
I'm gonna go with just casually, just for no reason, a teammate of Jerkson Profar. For no reason.
No reason whatsoever.
It just happened to be a teammate of his.
Who is Profar?
Right.
I don't think I've heard that name.
I'm gonna go with Fernando Tatis Jr. in 2022, if we remember, getting busted. So, yes, Mr. Fernando Tatis, and his career's still young, but I think that it's pretty fair. We can project him. He's pretty good at baseball.
He's gonna be a pretty good ball player by the end of it. But yeah, I think.
Is that my last?
That's
pick?
your list. So
there you go.
I will go ahead and give us the rundown of our team. So I'm gonna start with Jason. Jason starting off hot with Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, Jason Giambi, and Fernando Tatis Jr. I wonder if you can guess what Jason's favorite sport is. And then my list is Lance Armstrong, Sammy Sosa, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the Russian Olympic team. And then Brandon picking Mark McGwire, Ryan Braun, Patrick Peterson, and Jose Canseco. Is that how you say it? There we go. So those are our list, and now it's time to do a few honorable mentions, and one that I feel like I was going to pick until I decided that I should just go with Russia because that'd be a lot more funny. Roger Clemens is allegedly
that's what I had.
Steroids.
Yes.
That's what I was talking to you about how he did go to court for it, did get tried. He did not get found guilty. But a lot of these players were in the same situation. So allegedly tried in court. Attached in some way, Roger Clemens, yes.
It's been enough to where they've kept him out of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Right? He's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, right?
I don't know if that's
I could look that up.
But yeah, another honorable mention, another guy who I believe was found twice, Manny Ramirez.
Oh yeah, when he was in
Manny
Boston.
Ramirez. Yeah, I think Robinson Cano. Also, I hate how there was an era of baseball.
Yeah, they made it really easy for you to just go like, let's get some baseball players on here. But Roger Clemens is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh wow.
Yeah, see,
that's
I was thinking
crazy.
that he wasn't.
That's
7
crazy.
Cy Youngs, and he's not in the Hall of Fame.
So his connection to performance enhancing drugs is.
I just feel like if I'm baseball, like if I'm baseball, if I'm the MLB, I'm looking at that Hall of Fame. I'm like, dude, everybody did it back then. So like, what are you just gonna do? Take out an entire era of baseball?
I mean,
bro,
you're thinking then in his case, like he's a pitcher, right? You don't think often, more of the pitcher. You think more of the batters,
right?
The batters were using it. I mean, like, but I want them to be consistent with it because Alex Rodriguez is in the Hall of Fame.
That is true.
Like, I mean, I wish that there was some consistency on those grounds. I think that it would be right to put people like Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame. Now, I would probably say that I wish they were just consistent and didn't put, if they were going to say they're not going to put any from the area in, then don't do it. But they already have.
I could just be naive because I don't have a great knowledge of old baseball, but like, did Barry Bonds serve a suspension for PEDs, or did all that come out later? Because A-Rod served a suspension. I don't know if that's like, if they serve a suspension, you can put them in. I'm not quite sure how that works, but
I don't think Barry got suspended.
Yeah, I don't think so.
For
I
in
don't
the
think
season.
he
I think
did.
it came out after he retired.
Right.
yeah,
I
not the
believe.
fact that he got absolutely yoked just randomly in his career and
like,
started hitting nukes,
Yeah,
like if
but-
you're the MLB Hall of Fame, you've left out a 7-time Cy Young winner because of PEDs. You've left out your home runs leader, and then for other reasons, you've left out your hits leader.
Yeah.
So I don't know, MLB
R.I.P.
Hall of
Pete.
Fame, you're leaving out some very important names.
Yeah, but then put in Alex Rodriguez,
Right.
who I've already stated is kind of overrated.
And also in the football world, we have DeAndre Hopkins, who got suspended for 6 games at the start
I
of
don't
2022,
remember.
mentioning
Yeah,
of your
D-Hop.
Cardinals earlier.
I did not remember that.
Dude,
Yeah.
that D-Hop Arizona era, I just forget about. And he had like one of the best catches I've seen. Like
You know
that triple
why?
coverage Hail Mary, dude. Friggin' absolutely insane. But that's all the time we got for Snake Your Case. And I think the lesson you can learn here is don't do performance enhancing drugs or you will find your name on our list. But we will be back in a few. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for This Weekend in Sports.
You are listening to Triple Threat here on Wolf Sports Network.
Over the horizon, a new show rises over Wolf Sports Network. To bring light to all things college sports. The Playbook, 6 to 7 p.m. every Tuesday on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio are coming together for the concert event of the year. Wolfstock, baby! That's right, Wolfstock is back with great music and fun games and a great time for everyone around. April 21st, 6 to 9 in the Campus Center Ballroom. So come out for a good time. Wolfstock 2025 is brought to you by Flagship Carrollton, Dine West, The Orchard, Illuminated Productions, and American Pie Pizzeria. My team sucks and I'm mad as heck. Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet. We'll never win if love is in. Goodness gracious, I'm fired up.
On Sports Out of Pocket, we're fired up about all the times our sports teams have let us down. And in our brand new segment, Fire Me Up, we're gonna rant about them. So tune in every Wednesday at 5 p.m. only on Wolf Sports Network.
Hey, do you want to be part of Wolf Sports Network? Yeah! Well, I have some good news for you because you can join us. Woohoo! So if you want to learn more about this, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com and click WIT Sports Program. With becoming a WIT, you expand your knowledge in the sports radio world and join our ever-growing family.
New face over there, you're not tripping. We got my guy JT over here shadowing the board. He's running through a WIT program right now.
Brandon, how you feeling, baby? Welcome to Sports
I'm feeling
Back.
great being on here for the first time.
And we can't wait to meet you once you join us.
Ring, ring. Hello, what's that?
Sports Pack now has call-ins every Thursday from 6 to 7? Huh? That's right, so DM us on Instagram at Wolf Sports Network so we can hear your opinions. Or you just flat out disagree with us.
And my call is rooted in heartbreak, not anger. Don't get me wrong, I'm angry.
Yikes, he didn't sound too good, but we can't wait to hear from y'all, so make sure y'all DM us at Wolf Sports Network on Instagram.
In a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That is why the Crafty Rabbit Meadery has joined Wolf Sports Network's and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign, reminding you that there is no drinking under the age of 21. Never drink and drive, even if it's just one beer, and add food and water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex, which means know your limits. Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to boost literacy rates with our pre-K book drive. Our ongoing book drive will provide a new or gently used book to every child at UWG's pre-K monthly. Give today by visiting wolfradio.com/book drive. Together, Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network will make a brighter future. Visit wolfradio.com/book drive. This weekend in sports! There is no stager quite as good as this weekend in sports. I'll have to say it every single time I hear that beautiful but we have quite the weekend in sports, and really we've had quite the week in sports in hindsight, which is where we're actually going to be spending a little bit of our time. But this weekend we do have something pretty important. The Final Four. We have all number one seed. So I guess whoever was doing the seeding might have cooked this year. But Brandon, why don't you let us know who's playing and who you think are going to win those games?
So on one side we have Florida and Auburn, and on the other side we have Houston and Duke, which I think that this may be one of the greatest Final Fours I've ever seen in my life.
All one seeds is a treat, and they're all playing pretty darn good basketball.
Like Houston, I wasn't a huge believer in, but then they went out, they walloped Tennessee in the Elite Eight.
13 points in the first half or something like that?
15.
15? Go.
And then the Duke has just been looking like they are completely unstoppable right now. And then you have on the other side Florida, who I believe is the most complete team in the entire country right now. They are able to score from all three levels of the court, and defensive wise, they're able to stop perimeter shooting, which I'm a super big fan of. And then you have Auburn, who has Janai Broome, probably the greatest college basketball player of the season this season. So I think we're in for a good one, boys. I think Florida winds up beating Auburn in a close game. I think Duke actually beats Houston by, I'm going to say 7 or 8.
All right.
Wow. See, now, as Florida being my national championship and somebody I'm riding on, I know, it's disgusting, hey. I'm good at therapy. Anyways, this Florida team, I feel like, has just been relying on being able to play, especially in their last matchup in the Elite Eight. Those last 2 minutes, they were down by 10 with 3.5 minutes left, something like that. I wasn't all that impressed with most of that game for the Florida Gators. I think that if they make mistakes like that against an Auburn team, who I would argue is also probably, if you're not going to say they're the most complete team, definitely right there with Florida. It's gonna be a dogfight.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I look at these games and kind of shedding some light on this Duke and Houston game. I really like Duke. Just the way that they've played this season. that vibe that Cooper Flagg had brought, and then how the team played without Cooper Flagg. Like, Cooper Flagg has not necessarily, he wasn't healthy to start the tournament, and the team played really good. There were guys that they're gonna step up when they need to step up, which is big. You can say it's a young team, but in my mind, like, every team that has great players is gonna be a young team because those players don't stay in college for that long anymore. So I'm gonna give Duke the upper hand against Houston. But when I go back to this Auburn-Florida matchup, there is no team that I hate more than the Florida Gators. I hate the University of Florida, and so with that bias, I'm going to have to go Auburn. But it's not just because I hate Florida. It's because I've seen Florida just play in close game after close game in this tournament. I mean, that UConn game was really close. They almost got knocked out in the round of 32. The last game they played against Texas Tech, they stormed back. But I just don't know if they're going to be able to continue doing that, especially when you're playing an Auburn team that can throw your game off. The way that this Auburn team plays, they're a very, very physical team, and this is going to be a very physical matchup. So I'm going to give the upper hand to Auburn because all my homies hate UF.
I've always been like kind of intrigued in that trifecta of Miami, Florida, Florida State, and all who hates who more in all of that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that rivalry. With Miami, it's almost like that rivalry was just built on both teams kind of being good at the same time. It's almost more out of, I don't want to say respect, but like, we don't hate each other as much as like, I hate UF. There's nothing about UF I like. Like, absolutely nothing about UF that I like. So I just can't stick behind UF. But I think that, Jason?
Well, no, I was going to say, we got more than basketball going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
we got some baseball. We've had our opening week. Opening 7 games have been played for the Atlanta Braves, and they have put all 7 of those games in this column that looks like this. I am painting a big fat L. 7. Oh, look at this. L7. Wee. Listen, it's been unfortunate. All right, us Braves fans, we're going through it. We haven't felt anything like this since, I mean, in the Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, era. Man, Brandon, what do you got to make of this? And you got all the numbers, like no 0-7 team has made the postseason. I think that if any team can do it, I think that this Atlanta Braves team can turn around and do it.
Well, I mean, first of all, we have injuries, and I know I'm not making that an excuse.
Yeah, I mean,
to this 0-7 start. Like, trust me, they've been pretty dreadful, like this season to watch.
You still have a lineup that should at least win a game.
Exactly. Like, so we have Strider coming back at some point this season. We have Acuna coming back at some point this season. So both of them though are
like
really not going to heat up probably until June.
Right.
So, second half of the season, hopeful. No, not right now though.
We're gonna heat up when the sun does.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting situation that y'all Braves fans are looking at. It's almost a situation that I was looking at last year, but I'm not going to get into it. But when you look at this Braves team, I mean, yes, you have Acuna out, you have your superstar out, and then you have Strider out, your other superstar. But this lineup, man, you still have Austin Riley, you have Michael Harris, you have Matt Olson, you have Ozzie Albies. I mean, you had Profar for a little bit. I don't know what happened to him, but you still have guys that can produce. And especially when you're going into the season, like I've heard the excuse, well, we've played the 2 undefeated teams. We've played 2 great teams. We've played 2 of the best teams in the NL.
Undefeated because they beat us.
But the issue is, Braves fans going into this season were trying to say, well, we're one of the best teams in the NL. And if you're going to say that, you got to beat the best teams in the NL. And you can't, when you lose them, you can't just be like, well, they were the 2 best teams in the NL. Like, come on, man. You expect us to win? Like,
with the injuries we have, I knew it wasn't going to be a good start to the season. I did not imagine an 0-7 start.
I agree.
I thought it may have been like a 2-5.
I was thinking like if I were a Braves fan and y'all went 4-3 or 3-4, I would have been like solid, great. But
I would have been ecstatic.
0-7, like I was hearing somebody say like we're off to a slow start. It's not even a slow start.
It's not a slow start
like,
anymore.
It's to make the postseason, you're going to be the only ones to ever do it, which is crazy because we're not even 10 games into the year and you're having the postseason conversation like that. But it's been very, very interesting to see that start for sure. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, we were coming in. We were worried about the bullpen. Yeah, we called up Jesse Chavez. We called up Jesse Chavez. But
isn't he like insane in a Braves uniform?
Oh yeah, like dude, he has like a 4.5 ERA with any other team that's not the Atlanta Braves, and then he just has like a 2.5 career, something like that ERA with the Atlanta Braves.
He loves Atlanta,
but he went out there and he had his lone performance against.
It was too early
against the Dodgers, and he got DFA'd like hours later. Like what? It's like a fever dream. Like what's going on? The Dodgers can just not seem to stop hitting the baseball. We had Ohtani, right? And I think it was I kind of blame this loss on Andrew. No, I'm just kidding. But Andrew did say, like, dude, Ohtani's had a horrible series, something like in the second inning. Like,
yeah, he heard that.
Like, no way. Like, you can't hold him down for too long. And, it gets to the eighth inning. Like, oh yeah, we're fine. We're fine. You got Max Muncy, hits that ball. You threw the same exact pitch that you threw to Muncy, basically, to Shohei Ohtani. And you can't hold a man like that down too long, obviously. Puts the ball dead center field and has every Braves fan with their head down immediately.
Yeah, it's brutal. And for everybody that doesn't care.
But in other news,
Marlins are 4-3, and that's all I need to say. It's not going to last long, but we're above 500.
4 walks off?
3 walk-offs. We did one, we did one full, complete win, but 3 walk-offs. It's been a fun.
Did you lose that game in the 10th inning the other day?
Yes, we did lose that game in the 10th inning. But we won 4 others, so...
Dude, y'all ought to be professionals in, like, the freaking 9th inning, 10th inning.
Dude, they've been a fun team to watch because they play, like, obviously, we're, on paper, the worst team in the... Like, one of the worst teams in the MLB. We're the youngest team in the MLB by, like, 2,000 games. It's kind of wild. And so the way that we play is just aggressive. Like, if there's a chance to friggin' storm home, we're gonna do it. Like storm the home, whatever.
The ballpark, boys.
They're a really aggressive team, and they've been able to keep games close, which has been pretty interesting.
If there's one team that the Atlanta Braves love to torment,
it's
their
Marlins.
Names are the Miami Marlins. And right here, right now, 7:15, first pitch. I think the season turns around here right now. I think that we cannot be facing a better team.
Right.
Like the Marlins are not playing bad baseball.
No.
The Braves play their best ball against the Marlins, and I love it.
What's even funnier,
and the Braves are doing it without these things called torpedo bats.
Yeah. Jason's favorite topic, I guess.
Listen, gentlemen, I could go on and on about these torpedo bats. Now, I'm not a baseball traditionalist, and I love home runs. No,
You're the definition of a baseball traditionalist.
No, this man.
Oh, dude, yeah, I was about to say, I'm way more of a baseball traditionalist. You think Jason's a baseball traditionalist?
Brandon gets over there begging on his knees for a bunt. Like, if there's not a bunt in a game, like, he's depressed.
I've heard you do the exact same thing, bro. You're always like, bunt the ball.
Well, the thing is, bro, when the Braves have the bases loaded, and they don't have any outs and you don't get a run, and you have some dude whose last name's Fairchild at the bat who doesn't have a hit all season, daggum, put the squeeze on. It's not that hard. It's not that hard.
I was losing my mind at that moment, too, when we had 3 on and no out.
Yeah.
So, like, you gotta understand situational baseball. You gotta. And if it just is going to pain you to grab an RBI for an out, bro, get over it. Bro, be a team player. Because in that freaking Dodgers game, that costed us the freaking game. You have that inning, bases loaded, no outs. We get walked off by Shohei Ohtani. That should not happen. It should not happen.
Should it happen?
It should not. Anyways, that's insane. We have a baseball controversy with these torpedo bats. I'll save it for some other time.
Yeah.
I mean, dadgummit, I don't think they should be around, but, you got the Braves ordering some allegedly. I mean, dadgummit, if anything's going to save us, I mean, maybe a torpedo will do it. I mean...
I was about to say, I don't hate the torpedo bats, but at the same time, I watch a team that does not score a lot of runs. So if we get torpedo bats and it allows us to score runs, I would not be a mad camper whatsoever. But that is all the time that we have for Triple Threat today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It was a great show, and we will see y'all next week.